Chris White, Penn State fan, the best in college football, in college in
Absolutely.
general.
We
Absolutely.
are.
We are Penn State whiteout, baby. This is a whiteout. And his name is Chris White, so if it's him, this is a whiteout.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I never knew you were a Penn State fan, Phil.
How'd you
Until I
not
told you
know
that
that? You
he
never
was a
see
Penn
me
State fan,
posting
and
it?
you're like, "Oh, I am too." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh, hell
you
yeah.
guys get along."
Diehard Penn State fan. But our man Saquon, no, he might have to go.
Well, we'll see what happens with his contract. That's going to be interesting because it's like the whole thing is I do see him like because the bottom line, he's not going to get some high dollar contract especially because they don't pay running backs and they're going to look at him as high risk. But I do look at him as he could end up being like did Derrick Henry get drafted by the Titans? I'm trying to remember. He did, right?
Yes, he did.
That's a poor example. But I think of like he could be a guy that comes up and gets that second chance with the team that knows how to block on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. And I think he could blow up because the whole thing, the physical skills are still there. It's like tearing an ACL nowadays is way different than if
that
it
happened
was.
to LeGarrette Blount. Remember, he kind of fell off for a little bit, and then
he came back to the Patriots or something.
Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah,
he was an all-star.
2 Super Bowls, right, with the Eagles and the Patriots.
Yeah,
maybe 2-time Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, he was.
We'll see what happens with him. I mean, the guy is about as athletic and strong and talented, as hardworking as you can get.
Yeah.
Because I know when he was at Penn State, he said every offseason he'd pick one really particular thing to work on. And so when that's why he was so good catching the ball out of the backfield, because one offseason he said, I'm going to work on that. And picking up blocks as a running back on a pass play, he worked on that one particular offseason. So the guy's he's a hard worker. So when everybody wants to give him crap for that, it's like you're wrong.
And the Giants are not doing him any favors either. So they're not putting nothing around him, no blocking, no anything. No, we have no offensive coordinators that are worth anything. So, yeah, I mean, I think he got a good season this year. I think he'll be all right. I think we got Brian Daboll now from Buffalo. I'm trying to get my friend Steve on. He's a big Bills head. So we got their GM, their coach, and we might get their quarterback coach to be the OC. So we'll see. The Giants are heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
We'll bring the Bills Mafia over.
We'll still see about Daniel Jones, though, because it's like normally if you're drafting a guy from Duke in the first round, I'd hope he'd be a basketball player.
Yeah, because Dave Brown wasn't the guy. I remember Dave Brown. He wasn't the guy. But then you got like Phil Simms. He come from Morehead State?
Yeah, something like that.
Small school guy. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. But I think Daniel Jones could be a really good quarterback. He kind of reminds me of Josh Allen a little bit, the way they play, like their style. Of course, Josh Allen's a lot better right now, but I think he could be like a Josh Allen type. He has the physical tools to do it.
I don't know about that one. Josh Allen,
did you think Josh Allen was good last year? I mean,
no, I said that too. I was like, he came out of nowhere this year, huh?
Yeah, he was all right.
He had that game, man. That game was theirs.
I know. Oh my God.
When Josh Allen was in college, I was like watching him play because it's like on Saturdays I watch whatever college game's on. It's like, and they're on all day. And like watching Josh Allen play college football, I'm like, dude, how is this guy going to the first round? And he has absolutely proved me wrong. It's like, man, he can run, he can throw, he's good in the pocket, good pocket presence. He's not like a true dual threat, obviously, but he's mobile enough to get out of the pocket.
Yeah,
get some nice gains. But yeah, it was a shame how everything ended up last week.
they had 13 seconds left.
The squib kick it. What's the worst that could happen, right?
They had to squib kick it. They would have had, instead of 13 seconds, it would have been at least 7.
Right. Just squib kick it, I think sometimes in football, they get too complicated. They get too scared to do just squib kick it and live with the results. I'd rather do it like that than.
So what do you guys think about the overtime rules, though? Because once it went to overtime, they never got the chance to get the ball back. And that's kind of messed up. They did what they had to do to tie it and stuff, and they never get a chance after that. Is that fair or not? Like, I don't know.
To a college style, I think every team should have the ball one time. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I think I do like the college. I don't think the college is a perfect system. And if you remember this year, Penn State played Illinois. Yes. And it was technically the longest game in college football history because nobody could convert on a 2-point conversion. Because essentially, I believe it's after the third overtime period, it goes to automatic back-to-back 2-point conversions. Mm-hmm. So I think the way that you do it is you put the ball on the 50-yard line. Every team gets a chance. So that way you leave it. And so it's not just going to be automatic field goal attempt because you're starting off on the 25 and you can maintain position. But yeah, I think it's just there's not going to be a perfect system, but I think if you say a 50-yard line, each team gets an opportunity.
Yeah.
As long as the game's not going to go that long. The bottom line,
no,
like there's not going to be touchdown after touchdown, and especially even with the 35-point extra point, that's changed things too, to where it's like, okay, when extra point percentage was like 99%, now it's probably closer to like 95% or 92%. I don't know the exact metric, but I think 50-yard line is the way to go.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
They give them another chance to kick a field goal. The other team gets a chance, so why not the? It's just, it's not fair.
Yeah,
because they played their heart out, man. They deserve to advance. They just.
And I know you got like a personal thing too. I know you despise the Chiefs, so I'm sure that played a little part.
I mean, because like I said, I don't know if we make it to the Super Bowl and we end up playing them. I don't know. Like I'd rather not have to play them, but if we do end up playing them, then we'll just deal with it then. But I'd rather not play them. Because
I think if they go to the Super Bowl, they're gonna win it. That's the thing. Because they're like catching fire again, right where they need to. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. So
yeah, I think it's gonna be a bloodbath, man. They're gonna beat the crap out of the Bengals, I think.
Me too. Well, don't sleep on Joe Burrow though. Joe Burrow,
he's good, but
he's good. He's good. He's tough.
I think the Bengals are going to be interesting because it's like they're just kind of a gritty team.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think they're not going to, I think for them, it'll probably be about, okay, let's keep it close at the beginning. Like, don't get overwhelmed. Just stay calm, work through the game. I think, just shutting down as best as possible Kelsey and Tyreek Hill.
And Tyree, yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that's easier said than done, but I think just with the Bengals, we will see.
Then you got Mahomes scrambling around. He's extending plays. It's going to be tough because I feel like the Bengals matched up well with the Titans. Kind of similar, like gritty quarterback play is, I know he's better than Tannehill, but Tannehill's not so bad either. I feel like they were kind of on the same level there. It was just an even match. I feel like this is like David and Goliath type thing right now. The Chiefs are just clicking. They want revenge for losing last year. It ain't looking good for Cincinnati.
Yeah. I mean, we wanted revenge last year too, and we didn't get it. We still want that revenge.
Yeah, you want the revenge.
No, we advanced, but we didn't look that good.
Yeah.
That special teams, that block punt, that obviously saved us because we didn't do anything on offense. They were dropping up. Jimmy G was dropping dimes on everybody, and they were all dropping them. And he gets all the flack for it. Everyone wants him out.
Yeah, they were killing him. You see that happen with Jeff Garcia and that lady, Mina Kimes.
Oh, yeah. She's talking crap about Jimmy Garoppolo.
He said Jimmy G is just a passenger, something like that. He's just a passenger on the ride or something. I thought about Jared right away.
I don't think we're going to be there without him.
She said that?
Yeah.
Is that on national? They said it on TV?
Yeah, she said on TV that Jeff Garcia went on Twitter killing her about it. Saying that she never threw a pass, that she don't know crap. But then they're saying, how come he only attacked her and not a man? He only goes after the female.
Jeff Garcia, right? There used to be rumors about him.
Yeah, I remember. T.O. always said it.
Oh, yeah, T.O. went at him.
T.O. always said it. He is. He got the mannerisms and stuff down.
I like Jeff Garcia, though. He wasn't bad.
He was a good quarterback.
He was good.
Yeah, he was a manageable quarterback. I mean, that's the same thing with Alex Smith. When the Niners had him, and it's like, get out of town when he started getting good. I remember because I was living up in the Monterey Bay at the time, so it's like it's Niners fans and Raiders fans at that time, and it's like everybody's hating on Alex Smith, and all of a sudden he gets good and everybody loves him, and it's like okay, and not to say it's the wrong decision, but it's like they got Kaepernick, and Kaepernick was playing lights out for 2 seasons, so the right decision was to move on, but it's like Alex Smith. It's almost like it could be a Daniel Jones type situation. Like,
right.
He comes in, there's not a whole lot around him. You're going to hate on the guy the whole time. It's like, well, you got to, and given that the Giants do they got Evan Ingram right now, right?
Yeah.
Because he was kind of an underachiever, and then they got him in. And so, I mean, they do have more weapons, but it's like, when Alex Smith was with the Niners, it's like, I don't really think they had much of anything around him.
And then
and also every year they were changing the offensive coordinator too on him.
Yeah,
he never get comfortable. I think he had his first 5 years. He had like 4 different offensive coordinators.
I wanted Mike Singletary to work with you guys too, because I always thought he was like insane. He had those eyes on the sideline. He looked like
I liked him, but he hated Alex Smith.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he hated him. That's what his last words when he left in his final press conference. His last words were, "If you want to win, you need a quarterback." It was a shot at Alex Smith, and he walked off the stage.
Hey, wasn't there something with him saying like the players were complaining about him, saying he was trying to force them to go to church or something like that too?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think because I remember he used to wear like the big cross, like on the sidelines, and I thought I'd heard, but I could be thinking of that might be Mark Jackson with the Warriors.
It was him. It was him. He used to have the big cross with the wooden, like the wooden rope with the cross on it.
Yeah.
Right? If I might be mistaken the rope, but I remember he had the cross. But that for someone who had a cross on his neck, he was like on a rampage all the time. He looked like he wanted to
He's a linebacker. He's supposed to be.
Yeah, I was like, wait, but the cross kind of throw it off. I said, it was kind of ironic that a big cross on his chest, but he was like hitting players on the side. It was just crazy.
I do that when I get road rage. I'll get all pissed off on the road, and then I see my rosary hanging down from my mirror. I'm like, calm down.
Yeah, imagine if Mike Singletary wasn't religious. He'd be a maniac.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I know. No, Mark Jackson wanted them to go to church, right? Wasn't that a Mark Jackson thing?
I think that was, but I couldn't remember if it was Singletary too or not.
I mean, come on, bro. It's like the sports is the sports. These guys don't want to go to church. You know what I mean? It's like let the players do what they want to do and just win. Sometimes I'm telling you, these coaches go crazy, man.
So did you guys see? You guys obviously saw Tom Brady retired.
Yeah,
it bothered me. I'm actually
I just got a notification right now. It says he's undecided now.
Oh, really?
Already, he's undecided.
Okay, I don't want him to go. I don't know why. He's the only non-Giants player that bothered me when I seen he retired. I don't know why. He's like
You don't want him to go, or you do want him to go?
I don't want him to go.
It's like an end of an era.
We have no problem with Tom Brady in the Giants side. Yeah, he's like a link to my childhood.
I just don't want him to go because if you guys get to the Super Bowl, it might be against him, and then you guys win it.
Yeah, if the Giants had lost 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady, you'd be like, see you later, man.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got him. We got his number.
We got his number because even the Eagles lost to him once, so they can't even say that. We beat him twice. So, yeah, I don't want him to
perfect season one.
My childhood. Like I remember him as a kid. I was 16 and he was playing. I just like he's like a link to the past for me. Like I don't want him to go yet. But
yeah, see, I still remember when he took over as quarterback because I've been listening to talk radio since I was a kid, and so like I used to listen to Fox Sports Radio all the time, and it's like Drew Bledsoe got hurt. What are they gonna do? Oh, they got this fat kid from Michigan who's gonna come in. Well, when's Bledsoe going to be healthy? Because the season's over if we can't figure it out. And now here we are, how many years later, and like he could still start for half the teams in the league at least.
Oh yeah, and what did he throw? Like how many touchdowns he throw? Is he almost 40? Something like that.
Lot.
He threw like 44 touchdowns or something. Yeah. 5,000 yards. Yeah, this dude is still better than ever.
Wasn't he number 1 in both those stats?
I think
passing yards and touchdowns.
I think he was. Let me see.
No, I think he's at least top 5 for passing touchdowns. I think he was number 1 for yards.
Big Ben retired. I didn't care much about him. So
he looked like one of those guys. How we were talking earlier, when a player's done, like they're just done. He was one of those guys.
Yeah. Okay.
His last game, he looked freaking awful.
Oh, I think one thing with him too is he's a big enough guy that it's like when he was younger because he played over at Miami, Ohio, and he actually I think he came out the same year or right around maybe 1 or 2 years before Jay Cutler came out of Vanderbilt.
Yes.
But he was a bigger guy. Like he could have played linebacker. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like with how many hits you take, and he took them consistently throughout his career. And earlier in his career, he lived a rough life. He wasn't going home like Tom Brady on the TB12 diet or something like that.
No.
It's like he was enjoying his paychecks.
Yeah.
And it's like that takes a toll on the body. So it's like you got to figure it's like imagine going to work every day and getting your butt kicked day in, day out. Just constantly.
He used to be kind of like a runner, too. He was physical.
Yeah. You couldn't tackle him.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, people be hanging on to him, and but he didn't have the biggest arm for a guy his size. You would figure someone like his size will have that huge arm. He didn't have that, but he was good, man. Now the debate is him or Eli, but shockingly, a lot of people in the media putting Eli in front of him. So I can't.
They came out in the same year, didn't they?
Same year, Phillip Rivers, and Roethlisberger.
So I have to bring up one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing, as far as Tom Brady, everybody says he's the GOAT, right? They say he's the greatest quarterback ever. So I have a very dear friend. I told him I'm going to bring this up today. So I told him I was coming on your podcast. Huge Raiders fan. I said, hey, Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowl rings?
Yes.
Derek Carr, 0 playoff wins. I said, who's better? He said, it's really close, man. He's being serious. He's from Bakersfield. He loves Fresno. His parents went to Fresno State. He's like, he really thinks he would take Derek Carr over anybody else. And he goes like, you're crazy. And he said, he's like, if they trade Derek Carr, I'll stop being a Raiders fan. He's been a Raiders fan for his entire life. But man, he is in love with Derek Carr.
Well, I liked him coming out of college because I was telling Jared's brother James about him. I was messaging him before the draft. I said, you guys should get Carr. I like him coming out. He's good. He's a solid quarterback.
He has crazy stats. He's good. He's good. They just don't win.
They need to stop drafting first rounders that end up in prison.
Right.
I mean, it's that's probably a reason why they got rid of Mayock is that it's like you can't miss like Damon Arnett. I saw got released by the Chiefs because he got arrested again in Vegas.
Oh, he did it again?
Damn. Yeah, he did it. So he was on their one of those futures contracts.
Yeah.
So they cut him. And then obviously you have the thing with Henry Ruggs. They've just been missing every first round. And it's like they got Mason Crosby, who was, I think he was like 4th or 5th round of Eastern Michigan. And it's like that's where they hit. It's like he was hitting on the later round draft picks and the obvious first rounders, but it's like I still think that the Raiders should have taken CeeDee Lamb over Henry Ruggs at that draft. Yeah. But the Raiders historically stretch in the early rounds, so they had to go Ruggs.
Yeah, I didn't like Ruggs really coming out of college either, but
I'm not into like big I'm not big into like big moral victories. I don't do that anymore. But the fact that the Raiders got to the playoffs this year after this crazy year, the John Gruden stuff, the players getting arrested, and that's pretty cool. James is all about it. He's like, we weren't supposed to get here, and we did. And like, yeah, but that's a moral victory, I guess. Because he settled for that loss. He was like, yeah, we got here, though.
Yeah, because I know that was one thing is that because my friend that says Derek Carr is the greatest quarterback that's ever lived. Like he's always been, he was also the guy that was telling me he's like the Eagles are going to beat the Patriots. It's like, no way, it's not going to happen. Then it happens. I was like, holy cow, he was actually right. But he was saying the whole time, he's like, man, Raiders, they're in the hunt. They're in the hunt. I was like, it's like a 2% chance at one point of them making the playoffs because they had like a 6-game stretch of when they were just garbage.
Yeah, they were garbage. Yeah. Then you had the turmoil with the coach.
Yeah.
They
lost like 4 in a row, 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like 6 of 7 or 6 of 8 over a stretch.
I even told Poncho too. Frank, I told him, I was like, you guys might make the playoffs still. And he was just like,
nah.
I was like, I told you.
Yeah.
Now, what about their head coach situation, Raiders? Are they keeping their interim head coach or what?
Rumor is McDaniels right now, Josh McDaniels from the Patriots. But he also, remember, he agreed to taking the Indianapolis job a couple of years ago, and then he reneged on the job. But then I think that he knew that Andrew Luck was leaving. He's like, I'm not coming to a job without a quarterback. But one thing that I remember very vividly is that McDaniels, when he took over the Denver Broncos job, they had a nice young, one of the top young quarterbacks in the NFL named Jay Cutler. He comes in, they get rid of Cutler.
They bring in,
and because there were rumors that he wanted to trade for Matt Castle, who I think was at KC at the time.
Yes.
And they ended up drafting Tebow in the first round. So, man, who knows what the Raiders would draft with Josh McDaniels at the helm?
And that maybe they draft another
kicker or something.
Yeah, and that Patriots coaching tree right now is all screwed up. I don't really want anyone from the New England tree, even though Brian Daboll from the Bills did coach in New England. I'm not crazy about that.
There's a couple good coaches out there. And like we were saying, Jim Harbaugh's he was thinking about going back to the NFL. Sean Payton's out there now.
Sean Payton, Flores. What's his name? I even like Mike Zimmer from the Vikings. I like him as a coach too, but I don't know if he's going to get another shot. Rick Fangio. They had a few good coaches out there. So
yeah.
I thought Flores got a horrible deal in Miami. That first year, he had those guys overachieving. They were like, oh, Vegas odds were huge that they were going to have the number 1 draft pick. And he got the players to play hard. Then what did he get, like 3 years?
Yeah, no, 2.
2?
Did he get 2 or 3? No, 2. He got 2 years.
2020 just seems like it's almost a wash, but
yeah okay.
Yeah, I think it was 3, but it's like, how did he – I thought he was a good coach. I know he's been getting head coaching interviews, so good for him if he can get another job.
And what, they won 8 out of the last 9 this season before they lost that game, I think, to the Saints and knocked them out the playoffs. So they were I like their defense, man. I like he plays that. What he plays that cover zero blitz, like 90% of the time on defense or whatever. I like him. But the thing is with him, if you hired Flores to replace Joe Judge, you're not getting. It's the same thing. That's what the reports coming out. They're saying if the Giants did that, you're getting the same coach because he's kind of like a disciplinarian. He's kind of bad in the locker room. He's he doesn't take direction. He wants total control. So it's like I think that's why the Giants went with Dable too. Plus, we needed someone with offense. We scored like 12 points a game last year. It was historically horrible offense the Giants had. Literally 12 points a game. So
yeah, negative
with
10
Saquon
yards.
Barkley as your running back, we're scoring 12 points a game. It's ridiculous. I never seen
negative
anything
10
like
yards passing that one game.
Yeah, what was it? Negative 10. You like Jared? You ever see how he loves to bring that up? Though he's like, also the negative 10.
I would have brought it up regardless because that's just mind-boggling.
He brings it up all the time. He's like, you don't forget that negative 10. I said, yeah, I know we got the negative 10. I know. Yeah. But it's impossible.
I almost jinxed it too, though, because what was it? The game last week, the 49ers, we had like negative 7 yards after the first quarter. I was like, oh shit, did I jinx us?
Oh, I would love if that happened to you, man. Remember your negative 7? Exactly. Yep. It happens, but in this modern day NFL, that have negative 10 yards is like impossible. You probably have a better chance in the lottery than seeing something like that ever again. Only my team would do something incredible like that. It's ridiculous. I never seen nothing like that in my life.
Yeah.
To the point where the Giants, when they look at the TV ratings, no one was watching Giant games anymore. Giant fans, we stay with the team.
And then, didn't you guys also go for it? It was a 4th and 9 on your own 5-yard line.
Quarterback sneak.
What the hell was that? That was crazy too. That was like, I don't know. I never seen that either. 4th and 9 inside your own 5.
Yeah, and we're gonna quarterback sneak it to try to catch him off guard and get room for the punt.
That's kind of a stretch.
Yeah. But they're victory formation, though. So it's not like they didn't know what was coming.
Yeah.
Victory formation, and you just, I don't know. I think that's what cost him his job at the end. I think that play call right there was it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? This is the New York Giants. You act like we're the Jets or something. Like, it's just, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Jets.
Who do you guys got for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Chris.
I don't know, because it's like, obviously I know people that are Niners fans and Rams fans. I think for the Niners, it's like, can they stop Aaron Donald? Can they stop Von Miller?
Mm-hmm.
So how's the offensive line play been this year for the Niners anyways?
We're pretty good with Trent Williams. He almost had a record last week, ratings, 99.99 or something.
But did he got hurt last week, Trent Williams?
He did, but he didn't practice all week either, but they're saying he's probably going to play.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've stopped Von Miller and Aaron Donald already twice this year. I mean, I shouldn't say we stopped them, but we did enough to win the games. We swept them this year. So,
yeah, see, that's the whole thing is I do look at it like as far as that matchup, I think that one's more interesting than the Bengals and the Chiefs. Is that, I mean, going back to college football, it's like Georgia and Alabama. It's like Alabama smashed Georgia. They play a month later, and Georgia smashes Alabama. I think just the way that modern day coaches can adjust to game plans is kind of crazy because it's almost like Moneyball again, except just because they're looking at the analytics so much. It's like, okay, this is what happened last time. We can essentially plug this into your computer and find out where our holes were. But I think that if I had to bet money on it, I'd say it would end up being the Rams and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind seeing either the Rams or the Chiefs play the Bengals would be the matchup that I more want to watch. Plus, it's like I just don't like the Chiefs. And historically, I went to skill up a bunch of kids from California that somehow love the Chiefs. It's like, how? Because they had Joe Montana for 2 seasons. Nobody cares.
Right. My first NFL jersey was a Kansas City Chiefs jersey. Thomas Vanover, remember him, the return man for the Chiefs?
Yeah.
That was my first NFL jersey. My uncle bought it for me for my birthday. So I have some Chief ties here, so I'm not bandwagon. At all. I like them. I always like their colors, the red with the yellow. As a kid, I gravitated towards their jerseys, but now
my first jersey was a Jeff Hostetler Raiders.
I was gonna say diehard. I was gonna say a Jeff Hostetler Giants Super Bowl jersey. So
what happened? What happened, Jared?
I was already a 49er fan. I forget how I got the jersey, but I was like, oh, it's cool. I just worked the school a couple times. People made fun of me because they thought it was a fake Raider jersey because they didn't know who Hostetler was.
No, Super Bowl champion.
They were like the cholos at school. They were telling me that's a fake jersey.
You gotta tell the Super Bowl champion for the New York Giants, Jeff Hostetler.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna tell a quick story that's it's pretty humorous because it relates to like liking football teams. So my I had an uncle that passed away probably about 15 years ago now, and my other uncle has been a Broncos fan like his entire life. And so like one year, it was my Uncle David and my Uncle Joe. So my Uncle David's the one that passed, and later down the years, he's like, "Hey Joe, like, how'd you start liking the Broncos?" He's like, "Well, don't you remember? Like, I was little, and for my birthday, you got me this Broncos like team set." He's like, "Joe, that was only because they were out of all the good teams." And so my Uncle Joe told the story actually at his funeral. It was just like one of those things, is a nice levity moment because it was like, that is hilarious, and it's always stuck with me because my uncle was also, my Uncle David was a Chargers fan. So it's like there's already kind of that rivalry from the old the Western side, or when it was just the AFC.
Chargers never won the Super Bowl? I don't think so, right? Chargers never won the Super Bowl.
No.
They played in one in what, I think it was 94
Cowboys,
or something like
that. They got rolled on, though, didn't they?
Yeah, the 49ers beat them.
Oh, it was the 49ers. Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought it was the Cowboys, but it was in that same time. It was either the 49ers or the Cowboys win the Super Bowls like in the early 90s.
Yeah, the 49ers beat the Chargers, and we also beat the Bengals twice already, too, in the Super Bowl. So that'd be, I don't know, it'd be weird if we got back to the Super Bowl again and played them.
And Joe Burrow lifts the Bengals over you guys finally. That'd be crazy.
Nope, not that part.
Listen, Jared, I love you, man. It's good for the show when the Niners are good.
But so what happens, though? Say we do get to the Super Bowl and win it. Because they're already saying pretty much most likely we're going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes.
Can we get really good players for him now if he gets to the Super Bowl and stuff?
I'm not
saying. I mean, he doesn't put up the crazy stats, but he gets us to the playoffs almost every year.
Yeah, it almost seems like Trent Dilfer. It almost seems like a Trent Dilfer type scenario.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to trade for Trent Dilfer? And given that he is definitely better than Trent Dilfer was, because essentially that was the defense that won that Super Bowl
against the Giants.
Yeah, but it was just I don't know, man. It's just I don't really know who's going to trade a boatload for what the Niners traded like 2 firsts for Garoppolo, right, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. No, was that for Trey Lance, I believe.
No, because when you guys traded for Garoppolo from KC or from New England.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because that's when Belichick was trying to hold on to Garoppolo, and then I remember they gave up. I was like, man, that's a lot for Garoppolo, who only played a handful of games.
Yeah,
it's like Matt Castle. Matt Castle looked good with the Patriots too.
Yeah,
same thing with Garoppolo. He looked good with the Patriots, but that's because I think they wanted Tom to leave years before, right? They wanted to go with Garoppolo.
We got a motorcycle passing by.
Sorry, that's what happens when I'm in the backyard. I was like, I'm just going to mute it.
Oh, my Lord.
But no, like Jimmy Garoppolo's, his record is, I think it's like what, 38, 32, and like 14? He has a really good record, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't hate on him.
Here's the problem. It's not his record. It's the 49ers record.
Thank you. Because Trent Dilfer had a good record too with the Ravens, but their defense is giving us 7 points a game.
Oh, that defense was absolutely. I remember watching that as a kid. Watching them play, it was so frustrating. It's like they can't move the ball. It's like the linebackers could cover tight ends and wide receivers. They were just all over the field. It was just to watch them play. It was a clinic on how to play defense back then in the NFL. They'd probably be horrible now with the rules that favor the offense.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe we were going to win that Super Bowl until like 5 minutes into it, and they were just stuffing everything. I said, this game is over right away. I said, we're not going to move the ball against them. It's impossible. We got 7 points, I think, off the run back from Ron Dixon. And that was it. It was that, yeah. And then they ran it right back the next kick, and that was it. They were good, man.
Yeah. And then you guys got what, 3?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got 4 Super Bowls? 3?
4.
4. Yeah. What were you gonna say? My bad. What were you gonna say? My bad. I cut you off.
No, I was gonna say that we're also connected there too because you also lost to the Ravens in Super Bowl, so we have some connections there too.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
See,
we were 5-0. 49ers were 5-0. When I was not born.
Yeah.
They got the one when I was 5. I don't remember that. But now that in my lifetime, they're 0-2. Like when I can actually watch it and enjoy it, they're 0-2 now. Well, they were 5-0, but now they're 0-2 because
not having Joe Montana makes a big difference there too, or Steve Young and Jerry Rice. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like part of it is, it's like if you were a team like in Alabama, it's like they've won so many. It's like it's almost the expectation it kind of takes out of being so special. It's like you get spoiled, and I don't know. It's like look at the Patriots fan who had to go through a couple years ago. It's like, okay, this is what it's like to be a regular NFL fan where our team is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I don't know. It's like that's the whole thing is it's like if the Niners won every Super Bowl, you would be bored of it and you'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't win this year, then I hope whatever. I don't really care. I'm kind of indifferent at this point. But yeah, it's like to go through those long slogs. It's like, man, it's like, Jared, I know you're hardcore for the Niners, but it's like living up there in the Monterey Bay Area and Salinas. It's like all of a sudden the Niners get good with Colin Kaepernick. It's like, man, where have all these Niners fans been for the past decade? And the same thing happens with the Giants.
Yep.
It's like, so it's just like, I can't stand fair weather fans. It's like, if you like a team, you like them when they're dog crap and you like them when they're great. It's like, I want to see those jerseys year round, not just when they're good.
That happened here in Bakersfield too, because I had never seen a Seahawks fan in town until they won it that year. I swear, I had never seen one.
In New York, Seahawks fans are everywhere. I never met a Seahawks fan.
So when I lived in Washington State, I'd say that the Seahawks fans are the worst fans in football. Yes. They're so obnoxious because it's like I was living in it. And I was like, you guys are horrible. They're awful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when they were bad. So this was pre-Russell Wilson because this would have been like 2007.
Yeah.
And I remember they were really bad at that point. It was just like
Varys Jackson.
Because that's what I say too. I don't hate the Seahawks that much. I hate their fans.
Yeah, it's the fans. It's the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I went to get my oil changed, and I have my 49er flag on my truck. And one of the workers there starts yelling, "Oh, we got a Niner fan. We got to charge him double." Like loud in front of everybody. And he was serious too at the time. And then the guy told me, "You calm down." And he walked off.
You should have said, "Man, your own quarterback doesn't want to be there."
I told him that, and he was like, "Oh no, he's going to stick with us. He's coming back."
They talk about him going to the Giants. They got him going to the Giants. We don't want him. Not that we don't want him. We can't afford him anyway. We have no cap space, and let's just build with the picks that we have and go move forward like that. We don't need Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so that's another thing. That reminds me, you guys did 3 things that I had never heard of at all until this year. You guys couldn't afford 53 players to end the season.
Thank you. Yep.
The 4th and 9 inside your 5 that you went for, and the negative 10 yards.
Mm-hmm. Well, you really blew my mind because I watched those other 2 things, but you blew my mind with the whole practice squad. We didn't have cap for 53-man team. We literally were a couple guys short because we had no cap space.
And I was serious too. Like honestly, if say you guys would have made the playoffs, what do you do?
I don't know. We just had no cap space. I'd never seen something like that before in my life.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
But I never knew they could.
That was on Gettleman then, huh?
Oh yeah. No, well he was. What did Joe Shane took a shot at him at the press conference? He goes, "Oh well, we're gonna change the way we draft because in the draft room we still have magnets and stuff in there." Going back in the day, he said we're gonna modernize everything. Because remember, Gettleman used to get on his computer with his notebook, and he's scouting. And listen, bro, the things have changed. The Giants were just living in the past. I'm happy we're moving forward. We got Bills Mafia in the house now, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
We need to get tough.
Been able to draft and manage their roster well, so it's like it essentially seems like in the NFL these days, it's like you got to hit on like 50% of your draft picks, and you got to make the right free agent signings because it's like you look at the teams that go out and spend big in free agency, they're never very good.
Giants,
because it's like you're overpaying.
Sucks.
Because it's like what they got Nate Solder, right?
Nate Solder, horrible.
Like he opts out of 2020. Saquon gets hurt.
Yep.
Possibly because, it's not possibly. I'm just saying it's like, okay, I was already worried about Saquon when your offensive line's not good and then your best offensive lineman opts out of the season.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. They got to figure out how to manage that roster. And hopefully with bringing in the guys from the Bills, they can kind of correct it. Because I think it goes down to that. It's like if the Giants being good is good for football in general.
Yeah. 49ers, Cowboys, Giants, There's a couple of other teams there. When they're good, Packers. When they're good, the NFL is good. Those are like those lynch pad or the blue blood organizations in the NFL. It's like
I would say the Raiders too. I mean,
Raiders too. Yeah, the Raiders too. I agree with that.
Yeah, but mainly like for some reason those NFC teams stand out a lot, huh? Like you said, 49ers, Cowboys, Giants, Packers.
Yeah, Packers, and then the Raiders and the AFC.
I'd say also the Steelers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, there was the Steelers. Yeah. Yes,
I'm not a Steelers fan, but Steelers are. It's just those fans. They're like legitimately spread all over America. It's crazy.
Yep.
My dad's a Steelers fan.
No, What's that? Your dad.
My dad's a Steelers fan.
I see the pictures with him with a Steelers jersey on.
Yeah, he has a bunch of jerseys. He has more jerseys than me, and his are all authentic. I saw him in the first time I seen my dad fight was we went to some playoff game a few years ago for the Steelers, and he got in a bar fight there. And I was like 13. I was all scared.
Yeah. That's why I stay home when I watch the Giants, because my dad had a thing with me and him where we get tense, we turn the channel, then we wait like a minute, and then we turn it back on to see what happened because we're so nervous of the outcome. I have like a weird routine when I watch a game, so I don't like sitting there in a bar and the screen is mute and you just I don't like it because I'd rather be home and watch my football.
If I'm not at a game, I'd rather watch it at home. Or this year I've been at home for most of the games or at my Aunt Letty's house because so tomorrow my mom invited me over and I'm like, I haven't watched any games at your house all year, so I can't start now.
No, you don't want to do that. That's bad luck.
It's bad luck. My dad and I didn't watch the Giants win.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll go the next day.
Yep. My dad and I watched the last 2 Giants Super Bowls in separate locations because we weren't going to meet up and ruin the whole thing.
You know why we lost the Super Bowl against the Ravens too?
Why?
Because I used to always have like my little shrine set up in my room. But since we made it to Super Bowl, I brought all my stuff down, set up my TV and everything. We ordered pizza. But I brought all my stuff down so my family can like watch instead of being all crammed up in my room. That's what we lost because I moved my shrine downstairs. It's my fault.
It plays a role. I know people think it doesn't, but it plays a role. I know it does. Yeah. It definitely does.
Like, there's been plenty of times where it's like Penn State's been like they're on a 4-game winning streak, and it's like I've been wearing the same shirt every week, and all of a sudden it's like first half hasn't gone well. I got to go change hats, got to change the shirt, and it still doesn't work. But I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
eventually it'll work by happenstance.
Now, Chris, let me ask you something about Penn State really fast. Did our season not turn that half when I believe we were beating Iowa? We were number 2 in the nation, and we lose our quarterback, and everything just went to shit after that.
Yeah, so part of it is that the backup was a guy named Taquan Roberson who transferred over to UConn. And he wasn't very nobody was high on him coming out of high school. So he was just kind of one of those guys that's like, hey, it's kind of a project. Like we need a quarterback this class, so we get him. And then the other guy who was the third stringer, his name is eventually he played later in the season, Christian Veilleux. Yeah, and that kid's from Canada. Because Penn State actually has quite a few Canadian players, kind of strangely enough. And Veilleux didn't have a senior season because of COVID. So he essentially hadn't taken a snap in a live football game in like over 2 years. So they're like, we're putting Roberson in. Roberson couldn't communicate. He couldn't hear. They're clapping.
Right.
And the center couldn't hear it. So, and it took them like 7 false start penalties before they could get to the hand signal snap. And it was and Kinnick Stadium's no joke to play at. It's a loud place. And when you're backed up in their student section, it's going to be even worse. And so it was just a train wreck. And then Sean Clifford comes back hurt against Illinois. Penn State couldn't run the ball all season. And then Illinois plays. They don't play great, but Penn State played their worst game of the season, losing 75 overtimes or whatever it was. And because it's pretty sad, but Penn State has lost like 9 of the past 10 games, or they lost 9 out of 10 games on the stretch. It was something, or no, that's the wrong metric, but because in 2020 they went 4-5, and this year it was 7-6, I think was the final record.
And we were number 2, right?
Yeah,
if I'm not correct.
It all started out like played well against Auburn, but Sean Clifford getting hurt against Iowa, and ultimately for the rest of the season he was never fully healthy.
Never recovered from that right there. Because I remember at halftime, I was in a good mood. We were doing good. We were looking good. And then it just went to crap the rest of the season. That's the first time in a long time in a Penn State game where I was slamming stuff, and I was really legitimately pissed off. And I was,
and one of the biggest issues is that they couldn't run the ball the whole year.
No, could not.
They couldn't run the ball. We didn't have a 100-yard rusher in the entire season.
No.
And coming out, we had I can't remember what the award was, but we had 3 running backs on one of the watch lists for one award. So we had 3 like top. They were high 4-stars coming out of high school. They had produced previously at Penn State, and a lot of it comes down to the offensive line play was poor this year. They have a guy who's coming out, a left tackle named Rasheed Walker, who a lot earlier in the year he was projected to be a first-round pick. I'd say buyer beware to anybody because he's kind of notoriously not like a hard worker as far as like what the people who work with him say. And it's just the offensive line play was just poor. And in the bowl game against Arkansas, they brought some of the younger guys in. It's all of a sudden, wow, they're motivated to play. They're hungry. And the offensive line probably played their best game of the year in a bowl game where they were super short-handed.
Yeah, what a shame. We had it this year. I don't think we were going to win the national championship, but we were looking really, really good. We were looking really promising until the second half of that Iowa. I hate Iowa, by the way.
You guys started out, what, 4-0? Or how did you guys start out?
5-0. I believe it was 5-0.
Yeah.
We were 5-0.
We were tearing teams up. We were on a rampage. And then that second, I hate the Iowa Hawkeyes because they remind me of like the Steelers. And they got those annoying ass fest. I love the kids, though. I love the kids in the hospital and stuff like that. But they just drive me crazy. And I had a weird feeling going into that game. But at halftime, we were good. And then from that, it was just a roller coaster. They were like the Giants at the end. I didn't even want to turn on a Penn State game at that. So I had no football like the last 4 months because Penn State was unwatchable and so were the Giants. So it was like incredible. It was just what a horrible season for me this year, man. And then you got Garrett over here, he's smiling and basking and
drinking champagne.
Yeah. And complaining about his Dodgers who won like 200 games this year. Yeah. So I was like, what are you complaining about?
We didn't win the one.
Unbelievable.
We didn't win the main series.
With Penn State's defense, it's like their defense, I thought, there was a championship caliber defense there all year because they kept them in it when, Sean Clifford was out.
Yes.
And one guy to watch for, do you guys pay attention to the combine at all?
I do.
So if you remember, like Micah Parsons last year wrecked the combine.
Yes, he did.
And so did the Ravens draft pick Odifa Owe, who was he went by Jason Owe, which is his middle name back in college. They ripped up the combine. And so this year the guy to watch is Brandon Smith. He played outside linebacker for Penn State, and he was a 5-star coming out. So 5-star is like, that's their top end. They're expected to be a first-round draft pick. He probably won't go in the first, but he'll be probably anywhere second or third round. Could be early second, but he's a guy that's going to go tear up the combine and probably see him rise. But he didn't produce a whole lot at Penn State, but Owe didn't have any.
What position?
He plays outside linebacker. So he almost kind of reminds me of Navarro Bowman. Like that type of player.
What a player he was.
He was a beast.
No, we didn't need Micah Parsons, though. We got Kadarius Toney. We were good. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Dude, Micah Parsons came into Penn State running like a 4.5 and left running a 4.34.
Yeah.
He played running back too in high school. That guy is at Penn State at practice, they'd have him practicing returning kicks. And he played linebacker.
Unreal. It's unreal. Do you know the last Giants linebacker in the first round was Carl Banks, like in 1988, something like that? It's ridiculous. The stuff that happens around my teams. It's incredible.
Well, there were a lot of Cowboys fans that were pissed that they got Parsons.
But who did they want? I forgot who they even wanted.
They're like, linebacker was in need because they had like Van Der Esch and
Jalen Smith.
At that point, I think they still had Sean Lee.
Yeah, Sean Lee.
He hadn't retired at that point, but yeah, they were like, oh, it's not a position in need. Then this guy comes in. Oh, we don't have any defensive linemen. I'll play edge.
Yeah.
You can stick that guy at safety and he'd play well.
Yeah. Well, I think do you think they're using him right in Dallas? Because I think they use him more as like a coverage linebacker, right?
Well, I know he blitzed a lot because he had, I would check the Cowboys stat line just to see how many quarterback pressures he got. And he is always, you'd watch him play and he's always in the backfield somehow. He's disruptive. So he's almost like one of those guys, almost like a Tyrann Mathieu, where he's like, you can kind of stick him wherever you want to, and he's gonna disrupt the play. Yeah. And ultimately, on defense, with the rules the way they are, it's like that's why edge rushers are so valuable. It's like, how can you prevent the quarterback from doing his job, getting in his face, making him scared of you? And Parsons is a scary dude. So, yeah, I think he'd be one of those guys that they talk about like a quarterback is, that's the game changer for a team. But when you have a guy who can transform a defense with just being by himself, who can float from linebacker to edge or wherever you want him to be, it's insane.
And that's how the 49ers beat the Packers too. Special teams, and they had pressure coming off the edges, and Aaron Rodgers was uncomfortable. And now he might be leaving. He might not be with Green Bay.
That's what I was going to say earlier, and I heard he might take a paycheck or pay cut because he's already almost done anyways. So he might do like a little discount for one last year with whoever. Would you guys take him? Would you want him?
Would you want
him? I probably would.
You got to be crazy to not want him.
Exactly. Yeah. I was waiting for him to say no. No, you have to take him. And
he's got that State Farm money. He doesn't need NFL paycheck. How much they paying for those ads?
Got that discount double check. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could have had Tom Brady. What was it? Not last year, but the year before when he first left the Patriots.
You wanted Jimmy G.
Yeah, he wanted to be a 49er.
Yeah,
well, wasn't the Niners, didn't they drafted somebody in front of Aaron Rodgers who was like crap, right? A quarterback?
Alex Smith.
Was it Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of it was the Tom Brady draft where they drafted somebody who was just like was in the league for like 3 years and out.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Man, I forget his name.
Yeah, we drafted Alex Smith, and Aaron Rodgers went second, and then they asked because he wanted to be a 49er, and so they asked him. I'm sure you guys heard it. And he's all, so how do you feel about the 49ers not taking you? And he's like, well, I'm not going to feel as bad when I beat them every year, as bad as they're going to feel. And now we're 4-0 against them in the playoffs. I'll take that.
That was a great game. That whole weekend of football was excellent, man. That was a beautiful weekend of football to just sit back and watch, especially if you have some money on the games because now gambling is legal.
Well, you got into gambling, huh?
Yeah, I'm into the gambling thing right now. So I've been winning. I've been winning some money. I just won $51 right now just on some college games or whatever, just taking teasers and spreads. Mixing. I like betting college basketball. That's my favorite.
You know what you got to bet on? Because Vegas odds makers don't pay attention to is Ivy League basketball.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny because it's kind of ridiculous because you can kind of look at the stat lines and it's obvious that they don't put a lot of time into it because nobody really bets on Ivy League basketball. Maybe they do more now. But I remember one year I did a 3-team parlay on Ivy League basketball, just kind of off the cuff. I was like, man, this doesn't make sense. Like I think Cornell was good at the time. Then there was a couple other teams I looked at just the home and away records because obviously in college basketball, home field advantage is huge. And yeah, I won it was like a $20 bet and won like $400.
Yeah, just on those parlays. Yeah, because I had I don't know, it was amazing, but I have a 25 leg parlay going on right now, and my first 20 teams have hit. So, but I mean, I put $5 down, I could win $480. A 25 team parlay, I don't know what I was thinking last night, but so far the first 20 have hit.
Because I put $5?
$5 down, yeah. Because 25 teams, what's the odds you're going to hit a 25-team parlay? I mean, but like Chris said, if you look at this, you could kind of tell who's going to win that game. College basketball is sort of a lot easier to determine who's going to win in the NBA. I don't like betting the NBA. I like going with the college. If a team is like a 15-point favorite, they're more than likely going to win that game. So you have to take like 25 teams or something if you're going to take the favorites you have to kind of, have a lot of teams. So I have a 25-team parlay going on right now. So,
yeah, I've tried to do the FanDuel stuff a couple times, but
it's not. Is it legal in California?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
We just
I'm not that good. Yeah. I'm a penny pincher, so I'm like, as soon as I lost one, I was like, all right, I deleted that.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like, because I'm not a big gambler. So it's like I got to partition myself. So it's like if I go to Vegas, then I can do sports bets. But if I'm not in Vegas, I don't allow myself to bet. Because otherwise it's like, man, I'd be like, man, I got a feeling about this game. I'd always have that feeling. It's like those guys deal with stocks. It's like, I got a feeling about this stock. I have a feeling about every game that I watch, about what's going to happen, especially when it comes to college football.
Yes.
My wife would kill me.
You know what's funny? And I'm not saying I read futures and stuff like that, but every time I've been doing like a parlay and I look at a game and I'm like, I don't know, and I take it anyway, I always lose that one. That's the one game that'll let me down. Like at a 10-team parlay, I'll hit 9, but I'll lose that one game I was looking at like, oh, because Drexel and Townsend or something. I was looking at that game. I was like, I don't know if I want to touch that. And I touched it, and I lose because of that one game that I didn't have a good feeling about. It always is like that. It's always like, I'll lose by like a point. The over and under is a good thing to do too. In college basketball, they're not scoring 160 points combined regularly. So always go for the under. That's what I do. Always bet under. Then you tease it like 5 points, 6 points. It's becoming an addiction. I'll put it like that. It's becoming a slight addiction. Yeah. But I'll be all right. I'll be all right.
That's the funny thing you talk about, like I love listening to when they're talking about college basketball and how college basketball they play great defense. It's like, no, dude, they just can't shoot.
They just get right. That's what I always look. They just don't score.
They're like, oh, it's a low scoring game. It's like watching that Penn State Illinois game where it was just horrible football all around. It's like you would have some people that would say like, oh man, what a great defensive display. It's like, no, it wasn't.
No.
It's like even in that Bills and Chiefs game, it's like, how many blown coverages did you see? And I was like, I loved watching the game, but the whole thing is I'm more of a like when I watch a football game, I want to see good defense, good offense.
Me too.
And it's like with that football game, it's like there was given that it happens, especially when you have a guy who can run like a low 340 like Tyreek Hill, he's going to get loose and he's going to get open. But it's like there were just so many blown coverages in that game. I was like, it's like you can't just say it's like, oh well, great offense. It's like, well, it was also blown coverages that kind of contributed to that high score.
And that's why they were bringing in Leslie Frazier as a head coach, Ken. And I said, I don't want him. You see the defense there's so many blown coverages. But I think they had to do that for the Rooney Rule anyway. I think that was just like a courtesy or whatever. But I like to see good defense. That's why I don't like college football. It's like 70 to 55. To me, that waters the game down. I hate that.
That's Big 12 football.
Yeah, it's like no defense, just all throwing the ball. It's boring. I like a good defensive battle. Mm-hmm. Watch out for the Rams, though. You know who I think might win the Super Bowl? I think it might be the Rams. I could see the Rams win the whole thing with Matthew Stafford. I mean that.
Yeah, I mean,
watch out for the Rams.
They don't, obviously. If they win it, that means they beat us tomorrow.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, so I don't want them in it.
How do you feel going?
It's been a long time coming for me because the Dodgers got it, the Warriors got it, the Kings won it.
So it's not a long time coming.
For the 49ers?
Yeah, but you've still seen like 3 championships recently.
Yeah, but I love those teams, but I don't love them like I do the 49ers.
Okay, that's
like fair. I love the 49ers more than the Dodgers.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
So you confident?
I'm pretty confident.
That's the wrong answer. You gotta say, damn right, I'm confident. We're gonna win.
Damn right. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. I guarantee it.
He means business when he got that Southern accent going.
Yeah.
Like when he's mad, I could tell because he has like that accent. He's like, you guys gotta stop teasing me. I'm like, all right. Yeah.
It just happens. Like it's weird. I don't even notice until I go back and listen to the videos. I'm like, why do I sound like that?
Yeah, you sound like a country dude. You do. That's weird.
I don't know if it's country, but it's something.
It's country. For me, it's country because that's how people from the South talk. Hey, what's up now? Like your brother was like, "I'm going to give him my truck." I was like, "Well, I thought we was in California," but it was weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty confident though, honestly, because we've beat the Rams. We swept them the last 3 years.
Yeah,
6-0 the last 3 years. So, but
that comes on his hair though.
That's a 6-game winning streak. Every streak is bound to end sooner or later, and they're
that
due.
comes on his hair.
Who's to say that winning streak doesn't keep going?
What's Vegas saying for the game? What are the odds?
I have it right here. Let me see. They have.
I just bet on the game. I just bet on it.
It's the Rams are favorite 3.5 points. So I would take the Rams in that bet.
Doesn't it start at 3 already though for your home team?
I believe so.
Well, it depends on the stadium, but yeah, normally it's about a field goal.
And LA doesn't have that home field.
You guys saw the bullshit, right? How they're looking at your IP address or your address, and if you're not in LA and you're trying to buy tickets,
yeah, I see
they're declining you because they don't want it to be full of 49er fans again. That's kind of messed up, man.
What about so you have to buy it through like SeatGeek or something like that, a third party?
I think so. Yeah, it's not our fault. They all go
travel well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny when even when the Chargers are still down in San Diego and they play the Raiders, It's like it's a Raiders home game.
Yeah, they have no fans, man. I feel bad for the Charger fans. They have no fan base.
Yeah, the 49ers and Raiders do that. We've done that at Dallas a few times. The playoff game a couple years ago, and then this past couple weeks ago, we did it. It was like almost half and half red, but it's crazy, man. They travel.
I think it really stood out when Pittsburgh went to LA, I believe, right? And their whole stadium was all terrible towels. It was all Pittsburgh fans.
Oh, yeah.
It was like really embarrassing for that. That's when they were like, oh my God, you have an East Coast team over here just taking the stands over. So, yeah.
That's when they played the Chargers?
Yeah.
See, the Chargers, they should have stayed in San Diego. Nobody cares about them.
No.
In LA.
Who cares?
No, the Chargers should have stayed in that soccer stadium.
Oh,
40,000 seats or whatever it is. That's where they should have stayed. It's like then they could just sell their tickets their own fan and they could sell 50% capacity. It's like going to a minor baseball game.
They have no fan base, but they have like an historical franchise in a way. I mean, they have good history. They just have no.
I think they just moved to LA out of spite to keep the Raiders from going. Because remember, they were running out of time on deciding if they wanted to go to LA or not. The Chargers.
Yeah.
And the Raiders were about to be able to say if they wanted to go or not.
Yeah.
Right before that time came up, that's when the Chargers were like, oh, we're going to go.
Yeah, and the Rams have a beautiful stadium, but their fans are not there either. They had good home field in St. Louis, though. That was good home field advantage.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to that. It's like the weather in LA. There's too many things to do in LA because even if like you were saying earlier about watching games at home.
Yep.
A lot of people are just like, I'd rather watch at home, not have to deal with the traffic getting out in and out of the parking lot. It's not like you're going for the atmosphere when you like. To me, like if you even think about baseball, like if I go to a baseball game, I'm not gonna be like, man, what's the newest stadium? I really want to go there. It's like, no, you want to go to Fenway, you want to go to Wrigley Field, you wanted to go to the old Yankee Stadium, Tiger Stadium. And now it's like with the new stadiums, it kind of takes away from the atmosphere. And it's like, they're like, hey, we're going to build you this big, beautiful stadium, SoFi. And your hardcore people, they kind of get disconnected from it. At least that's the way that I look at it.
Right. No,
when I go to a game, I'm going for the history of the stadium, games that happened 70 years ago. And now it's like everybody's like, oh, we need a new nice stadium. It's like, yeah, those are nice. But it's like, it also makes things easier on your opponent, quite honestly. It's like imagine the black hole in Vegas versus the black hole in Oakland. Night and day.
Night and day.
A lot of those guys, it's like who had the season tickets in Oakland for the black hole. Like I talked to a few of them. They're like, I can't afford to like fly out to Vegas for every game and do this. It's like I have my job here. Most of them are or I should say a lot of them are blue collar workers because I know there was like some of them, they're like dentists and doctors and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like these new stadiums, I think it is kind of damaging to like those hardcore fans. It's like the Oakland A's. When the Oakland A's are good, that stadium is crazy.
Yep.
Because you get all the hardcores coming out again. Whereas it's like if you go to, it's like Dodger Stadium. It's like Dodger Stadium still gets crazy. And they've had a sellout streak for a long time, right, Jared?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we break the record.
They're not like the Giants do. Giants are fair weather fans, right? The San Francisco Giants. Not the New York. But
they have a nice stadium. I love their stadium.
But speaking of the Oakland A's, though, I think they just bought the Tropicana in Vegas. They bought that land, and they're going to destroy Tropicana and move this. So they're going to leave Oakland too.
So so my understanding, because you remember how they were talking about them going to San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's my thing with that is because I had always heard that essentially when the Giants built. What are they calling it? It's not Petco San Diego, whatever they're calling Giants, New York Giants State, or not New York Giants, San Francisco Giants Stadium. That essentially that was owned by the A's at the time. Like that territory was the A's. And so the A's gave it to the Giants ownership so they could build their new stadium, like, hey, like in good faith. And so when they gave that to the Giants, that also included the San Jose area. And so the A's come back to Giants ownership saying, hey, we're thinking about moving to San Jose. Oakland won't help us pay for a stadium. And the Giants said no. Is that like that's what I had always heard is the story behind it. So essentially, the reason why, in my understanding of the story, is that Oakland has to move to Vegas because they can't move to San Jose, who would fund the stadium because of the San Francisco Giants not giving those landowners because it's like the territorial rights or whatever.
Weren't they already building a stadium too back in the day? They started building one, didn't they?
I don't know. I know that they were talking about building one in Jack London Square, which is like right along the water in the Oakland Bay. And that would have been like if they could have done that right, it would have been a killer stadium. But I remember I can't remember, the mayor was very involved with it, and they were talking about, oh, well, right around the stadium, we need like low income housing. They were putting all these contingencies. They were saying like, okay, Oakland A's, you want a stadium? We also got to do these things. Like, that's not really what we want. So, and I get it. Quite honestly, the city of Oakland has bigger priorities than professional sports. They have their own issues.
Yeah. But I did see, I saw a video of like, it was kind of like a little documentary thing of the Oakland A's back in the day. They're going to have a new stadium built. And I want to say it was San Jose. They started, but it went under or something. And so now it's just like a big tunnel that they're going to have from the parking lot that went to the stadium. And it's blocked off now. It's pretty much like buried. But people can go in there and it's like, you can see like signatures and stickers, pictures that people put up when they were building it back in the day because they were all excited. And now it's just like a little ghost town, like a little ghost tunnel of like the old history that could have been. So I guess they had actually started.
Something has to be done with that stadium, though. The A's have. They got to leave or something. That's the worst looking. That's like a dreadful place. The Coliseum. That's just still called the Coliseum. I think that's what it's called, right? The Oakland.
Yeah,
Coliseum.
there was some sponsorship thing, but yeah, I would just. It's like Oakland Alameda Coliseum.
Okay.
But the biggest issue with that is that it's like, you guys remember hearing the story about the plumbing.
Yeah.
Plumbing getting backed up. It's like, yeah. Like, I like to go into that stadium. I thought facilities were fine, but I think it had to do with more like, what are things that we can fix that are below the foundation of the stadium, which is kind of hard when you have that big of facility. Because I do think, because like with Penn State, there's people that are like, oh, we really need a new stadium. It's like, no, we don't. No.
Nah, I like
it's just, so I think, ultimately maybe it's just me becoming a old grouchy man, but it's like, stop getting rid of the good old stadiums.
Yeah.
Stop tearing them down.
I don't think the 49ers had to move, and they destroyed Candlestick in the process.
Right. I forgot about that too. Yeah, you guys.
Candlestick was just fine. All the history, and they just knocked it down like nothing.
The Giants went there and won and everything. I miss it there. I miss Candlestick too. I really do.
Well, Tiger Stadium for the Detroit Tigers, like, man, that's like one of the old historical ballparks. Ty Cobb played there.
Yeah.
And it was just sat there in ruins for like 20 years. And it's like, oh, demolish it, parking lot now. It's just, I don't know. It's just, it's kind of sad. Because that's like almost, to me, it's like, it's comparable. Like, we're all huge sports fans here.
Yeah.
That's like saying the Romans saying like, hey, we need to get rid of the Roman Coliseum.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's the same thing.
I don't like all the corporate sponsorships. Every stadium now has like a weird corporate name. And you see the stadiums in basketball that you can't even pronounce it. It don't even fit. I miss the old days with that.
Yeah, like Staples Center, like we talked about that one time, like Staples Center isn't like a catchy name, but it was better than Crypto.com Arena or whatever it is.
Come on.
Like how we got into it. It's Madison Square Garden. That's a nice name. But even you guys have the Chase logo all over the building now.
Yeah, Chase is everywhere there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss Shea Stadium, Giant Stadium. Now it's MetLife, Citi Field. I miss the old, how things used to be before everything got corporate. And
it's just something about the names. Like, I don't know. You got to keep the names classy, not your brand. And
at least the historical.
.com.
Yeah,
.com. Too? Like, why they had to put the .com?
Wasn't Giant Stadium in the San Francisco Giants? Weren't they originally Enron Fields? And then they had that big scandal.
Enron was the Astros.
Oh, it's the Astros with Enron? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then it became Minute Maid.
Right. Because then they had the big Enron scandal, right? The insider trading or whatever. And then, they changed the name. And then San Fran was what? Petco Park?
That was San Diego was Petco, and I'm not sure if it still is or not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I like their stadium, though. I do like San Diego Stadium. I like the warehouse in the back and everything. It looks cool. And Minute Maid
is the Giant Stadium. I've never been there, but I think it looks nice. They got to get rid of that giant glove out there, though.
I like the glove.
Old and rotten.
Miami took away that flamingo that they had in the back. They took that down. That was a eyesore back there.
I remember the old Miami Dolphins owner. This was a long time ago now. I think probably almost 20 years ago. But he was refusing to sell the naming rights for the stadium. And then he died. And within a week, the people who were running the estate got a sponsorship for the stadium. It's like, man, you did your old man dirty. Like, you didn't want to keep. I can't remember what the name of the stadium was.
Like within a week.
Yeah, he died, and it's like, oh, sponsored now. Got to get that money.
Damn, yeah. I think that's just the way. It's like baseball analytics. Like everyone complains about the analytics, and now it's coming to football. Sometimes you just got to go with the times. Now the stadiums are going to be all corporate.
Real quick, just go back to like the branding and stuff. Like when you watch like soccer teams, I don't watch soccer that much. But there's been a lot of times when I'm watching a soccer team and I'm like, oh, that team looks good. And I try to read the name
You can't.
And I realized it's the name of a jet.
Yep.
Company.
Yeah.
Bread
like
company.
They don't even have their actual name on it. It's like the Fly Emirates all big.
Yep.
You know, or even basketball now. They're starting to have like the little
Wish,
the brands on here and stuff.
Yeah, Squarespace, Wish, all that stuff. What's I think Rakuten is
for the Warriors when they did that. I think the Warriors were the first ones.
I don't like it.
And then the Lakers. The Lakers are what, Bebo or something?
Yeah, they were Wish, and now they're Bebo, whatever the hell. Yeah, I don't like it.
And I think with like soccer, it's kind of existed for a long time. So you're like I've watched a fair amount of soccer in my life, so it's like I'm kind of used to it. But yeah, when the Warriors started doing it, it's like it just looks out of place.
Yeah, because the soccer jerseys actually look nice.
Yeah,
like, they look cool. They could play it off for some reason. I don't know, but
the WNBA did that too. You couldn't even see it was the New York Liberty anymore. You didn't know who was who. It was just a bunch of sponsorships on their jersey. Hate that. Hate it. With a passion. WNBA.
This is how it is nowadays, man.
Yeah, it's awful. I'm old.
Like I turn the TV on. Like when you watch YouTube, every 10 minutes there's an ad. You know.
Yeah.
Everything's full of ads.
Yeah, that's why I got YouTube Premium because I can't deal with the ads, bro. I got the YouTube Premium. I don't fuck around with the ads. It's annoying because when I'm at work, I don't like to hear through the ads. I just put my Bluetooth in and the YouTube show is running, whatever I'm listening to, ad free.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Whatever happened to your friend Steve?
Yeah, he was in, but then his camera is disabled on his phone. So he sent me the screenshot. So he said for me to call him and he'll talk on the phone. So I was like, all right, I could do that because I want to ask him some Bills stuff. So I could do that.
He's a Bills fan?
Die hard. He goes to every single Bills game there is. So he's
How old is he? Roughly. Was he around when they lost the 4 in a row?
I'm 36. He's got to be about 36. So yeah, he talks about the 4 in a row. Because I remember the 4 in a row. I mean, we were one of them. We beat them one time. Yeah. So
thanks that field goal.
Scott, what was it? Scott Norwood?
Yeah, Norwood. Yeah.
Wide right. There's a movie. I think I was telling Jared, Buffalo 66, with Vincent Gallo and Christina Ricci, is based on that game. He gambles.
Isn't that my nickname too? You got my nickname from that movie?
Yeah, I got Goon from that. Yep, that's how I used to call Jared Goon because he looked just like the guy's best friend in the movie. So he bet heavy on the Bills. The Bills lost on that field goal. He couldn't pay it back, so he took the crime of the bettor's friend was doing. So he went to jail as a replacement for paying the bet. And when he comes out, he's looking for Scott Norwood to kill him. That's the mission of the whole movie, is to track down Scott Norwood and kill him for that Bills and Giants Super Bowl.
It's almost like that Ace Ventura movie.
I know.
Oh, Finkel.
Yeah, Finkel.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was a. But you know, I feel bad. I mean, because he actually wrote me a message the other night, and he was really sad. It was at the Chiefs game, and he's like, and he was talking to like a regular man, like he was actually legitimately sad. And he said, you know, me and my dad just hugged, and we thought we had it. And in 13
That's what
seconds,
sports does, man.
Our dreams were crushed. And he's like, you think we're cursed as a Bills fan? I didn't have an answer for him. I don't know.
Cubs got out of theirs. If the Cubs can get out of theirs, anybody can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the whole thing is, it's like, with how franchises are able, like Josh Allen was, I think, without a doubt, a franchise quarterback. I don't think there's any debating that now. And that's like the first step. Once you have that, you have Diggs, who seems to be incredibly happy playing there, which he wasn't happy in Minnesota. No. So I think when you have those foundational pieces, then it's just like, I think they're in good shape, quite honestly, for probably the next at least 6 to 7 years, as long as everybody can stay relatively healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most disappointing thing with them was their defense giving up those points at the end. They're number one defense in the NFL, and they could not hold them for like 13 seconds. It's crazy to think about it.
One of the most disappointing things to me in that game was, speaking of Diggs, he only had 7 yards that whole game. I didn't realize that until I looked up the stats afterwards. Like, what the heck? He only had 7 yards.
He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Even the playoff, the game they won before, he didn't really do anything in that game either, I don't think. They kind of used him more of a decoy. And he got other guys open. And then, you know,
that does happen sometimes, huh? There's like a really good player. Sometimes they don't get stats because they're just like a decoy.
like a decoy. But that shows how much he loves being in Buffalo because he doesn't complain.
Yeah.
He complained in Minnesota. He don't complain in Buffalo being a decoy. He just loves being with that team. And they have a great fan base, man. I think the only thing with Buffalo is no one wants to live there. That's the only problem I think they got going for them. No one wants to live in Buffalo. And it's freezing.
They're nuts, man. They're for sure nuts.
Yeah.
You see the videos, right, of them breaking through tables, jumping off buildings.
Yeah, they would talk about bringing that over to the Giants now. Having the
you can't do that.
You can't do it though. I know. I don't like it. Let the Giant fans, we're classy. We won. We don't need another team's traditions or whatever. All right, we got.
Speaking of traditions, and since you guys know college, who started the hatchet chant? Was it FSU before Kansas City?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
About the tomahawk chop.
Yeah, the tomahawk chant.
Like because Florida State does it, Kansas City does it, and the Braves.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just hate it when the Chiefs do it. They do it the whole damn game.
Yeah, they do.
That's why it's annoying.
Well, the Braves do it most of the game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that the last series we had against them in the postseason. Like, why do it the whole damn game?
A lot of my family lives in Atlanta, so I actually went in the old stadium. I went to a couple of Brave games there, and they did it the whole game. They were doing the tomahawk chop. But I miss Chief Wahoo. I'm gonna miss him. Yeah. I miss Chief Wahoo, man. That was a staple. That's another thing. Now you're taking him out of the game of baseball. I don't know. We grew up on that. The Indians hat was like a classic. Yeah,
that guy from the Redskins logo, man.
Yeah, but they have like ugly colors and stuff for me. I don't like
the Redskins.
Colors. Yeah,
you don't like the colors?
Like burgundy, nah.
I like the colors.
I don't even like the Niners colors, to be honest with you. The red or whatever that is. With the
but you said you love the Chiefs colors.
I love the Chiefs because of the yellow mixed in there on the outline of the numbers. They have the yellow, at least on the home jerseys. I don't know about. Yeah, I don't know. I love, but the Chiefs have like a different red than the Niners, don't they? Don't the Chiefs have like a brighter red?
Right now, it's they're almost the same right now, but it is slightly different. But it's not how it was back in the '90s with like the burgundy jerseys we had.
It's another shade of red, like we're another shade of blue. Mets and Dodgers, another shade of blue, baby. Just another shade of red. I don't know. I think I don't like burgundy. The burgundy or maroon, whatever.
I have a couple of the burgundy jerseys, and I never wear them.
I like the 49ers with the black jerseys. Those are cool.
Yeah. I could never get one. They sell out so fast. I've never seen one
cool. Those are cool. Like the Mets black jerseys, they'll sell out right away too. I love those. I love anything like the Mets, the Jets
everywhere
too.
For Navarro Bowman, the black jersey when he was still a Niner at the time. Couldn't find any.
The Jets too. I like their jet colors. The black with the green. Those are cool. But ugly. Remember they had the white with the Jets are just a shit show all around. And I don't know. We have history here with Jet fans on the show. So it's we don't talk enough Jets and the Jared.
Every time we talk about the Jets, I got to do this just so we don't get in trouble.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. We lost a viewer because Jared was doing a green light show in the back.
But I was being serious though. I was like,
and he took offense to it, and now he no longer watches the show.
I said I liked the Jets last year because they gave Frank Gore another chance. And I'm serious. I swear to God.
No, I know you were being serious.
They turned the lights green. For real,
and I heard as soon as I went into work the next day, it was a huge deal. I was gonna yell that it was a big problem.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Mm-hmm. So, what's the most historic game you've attended in person?
Damn.
Oh, for me, it was definitely the Giants versus the Eagles. It was the year we beat the undefeated Patriots. It was the game Osi Umenyiora broke the single sack record for a game. I think Osi has 6 sacks.
Okay.
And then, I was there. It was at Giant Stadium. Yeah, and that's the year we won the Super Bowl the first time against them. And it's also the day the Mets got eliminated in the last game by the Florida Marlins. So I was pissed off going into the game, and I went to see that game. So that's probably the most historical game I've been to, definitely. Yep.
I have 2 kind of. It was 2012, when the Kings finished the sweep against the Blues, and that was their first championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at that game when they finished the sweep. And then also the second game that I think was pretty, I don't know if it's historical, but it was cool. It was when we had Manny Ramirez for the Dodgers, and he was injured and stuff. and it was his bobblehead night, and he came in around I think like the 6th inning, and he hit a grand slam, and that's when Vince Scully said, "That's more Hollywood than Hollywood." He's like, "Oh, you're right, it's Mannywood," because it landed in Mannywood, his section.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool. That's about it.
He has to get in the Hall of Fame. He has to.
Manny Ramirez?
Yes.
Well, David Ortiz got in trouble for
historical games.
David Ortiz got in trouble for PEDs in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds not. Come on.
I know. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
So, Jared, what you had a second one too?
No, I said the Kings game and the Dodgers. I was asking you which one's yours. What's your game?
So do you remember when Brett Favre's dad died?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and he threw for 399 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I was at that game. That was a Monday Night Football game in Oakland.
Wow.
And I swear that was a weird game because he just threw the ball up and it would just somehow land in the hands of the receivers.
I could see that in the videos. He would just throw it up and it was
crazy. That game was nuts. But I only thought of this question because of you said the Jets. So I was also at the Jets Raiders game when Mark Sanchez ate a hot dog on the sideline.
Oh my Lord!
So I was like, oh man, that USC quarterbacks, man.
It's not a good look.
Yeah,
it wasn't a good look.
And he's trying to be all sneaky about it. It's like, dude, you're on national TV.
Yeah,
there's plenty of cameras.
It wasn't a good look at all.
Well, why not though? How come an athlete can't just eat out there?
It's not NASCAR.
Right. And I think the fact it was a hot dog, it just looked awkward. It was.
And he looked right at the camera. Do you remember he bit and looked right at the camera?
Yeah, that he wasn't he trying to sneak under a towel or something? It was just strange. I think that was post butt fumble, right? That was after the butt fumble.
No, I think that was before the butt fumble.
Oh. So that was okay. So that set it up. That set up the butt fumble. Okay, you can't make this stuff up, bro. You just can't. So Steve is saying he wants to come on and talk Bills. Should I call him? Talk like 10 minutes of Bills with him?
Sounds good.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, I'm going to call him. I'm going to set him up right now because he said he has to go to work.
Yeah, because I got probably about another 20, 30 minutes before I got to head out. So he wants to talk Bills, huh?
Hello.
What's up, Steve? How's everything, brother?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Doing good.
Nice. I was just listening to the show. I heard you guys talking about historical games.
Yeah.
What's one for you?
I've never been to a historical game, but I've been to a bunch of bad ones. I mean, you guys have watched the Bills over 20 years, so been to a ton of bad games. Never any. I think I know historical moments except for Music City, but I wasn't at that. And now you guys can tack on 13 seconds as well.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Okay, 13 seconds left. Time is winding down.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead, ask him, Jared. Go ahead.
We won it. I was celebrating.
Jared has a question.
Why should you guys have squib kicked it?
I can't hear, Jared.
Should you guys have squib kicked it? Would that have made a difference?
Yes, 100% should have squib kicked that ball.
So I will say the counterpoint to this.
I mean, it could have went the other way. They could have ran it back or anything else could have happened. But, I mean, I think that we would have had a shot. Would it have mattered? At this point, I don't know. I got a million questions, but who knows if they'll ever be answered.
Yeah, because I think about like with the squib kick, because the squib kick, the clock doesn't start when you kick it.
Yeah.
So when the ball's touched, the clock starts. So it essentially could have been.
In reality, they should have squib kicked it. But at this point, it's just woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if. I try not to dwell on any of that stuff. The game turned out how it turned out. And honestly, even though the Bills lost, it was a phenomenal game. I mean, both those quarterbacks were it might have been one of the best games I've ever watched all time live. Like, it was just phenomenal.
That game reminded me of when the 49ers and Saints played each other a couple years ago to go to the NFC Championship game.
Oh, yes, I do remember that game.
Back and forth.
49ers, congrats on that. That's got to be exciting, huh?
Yeah, thank you, man. We'll see what we do tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. I hope the 49ers go all the way. I saw some stat today that in the last 18 years there hasn't been a Super Bowl without Brady, Manning, or the 49ers.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, you guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
The last 18 years.
Yeah, hopefully they break that trend.
I don't know who sits down and figure these stats out, but I'd like to get that time.
Hopefully that trend breaks this weekend. So this way Jared could become.
Yeah, because the only thing out of that stat, all those other teams won it, but the 49ers didn't.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. Well, I don't know. No, you guys lost to the Ravens. That's right. The power went out or something, right?
Yeah, the lights went off and they lost.
Man, what year was that? That was quite a while. Like
2012.
That was a while ago.
The year after the Giants won the Super Bowl.
That's correct. Man, speaking of those Giants, are you excited?
I'm loving it. I'm loving the direction we're going. Bills Mafia is coming to New York, New Jersey, tri-state area. We're going to be bringing the tables. We're jumping. We're breaking chairs and everything. It's going to be beautiful.
I would love to go down to Giant Stadium and jump through a table. That'd be awesome.
Do you think we got to do it?
I've checked out people go to Giants games. They say it's like a real, I don't know, like just like an upper class kind of environment, like
classy
with suits. You know what I mean? It's not really like a party sit down. You know.
Nah, we keep it classy.
Has he went through tables?
Jump through the tables. That'd be fun to watch.
You jump through tables?
I've never jumped through a table. I'm too old for that, man. Maybe if I was maybe 15 years ago, I would have jumped through a table. But if I was going to jump through a table now, we're going to need an ambulance.
Do you think we did good though? You think we got a good coach?
Absolutely. That it's all going to start with Joe Shane. That he's a beast. I mean, he's been around Brandon Beane and for quite a long time. I think they were together in Carolina, and they came with them when Beane became the general manager. And I think he's been the assistant since 2017 when he came. And,
yes,
he's played a real integral part in a lot of our depth as far as drafting goes. Like he's made some phenomenal deep round draft picks, like Dawson Knox. That was all him. Harrison Phillips, he was all on top of that. Terrence Johnson, he was integral part of picking up him. And then another guy that he was real key to, who's no longer on the Bills, is Wyatt Teller.
Ah, yes.
I think he went to Cleveland. I think he's like the starting guard over there. He's had a pretty good career. I don't know if it was salary cap or whatever it was that why he didn't work out with the Bills, but he's had a pretty good career in Cleveland so far.
Now, let me ask you another question, Steve. If I'm wrong, correct me. Aren't you also a Penn State fan?
No, that is not true. I'm not. I don't really watch college
because I see you with Penn State stuff all the time.
I wear a lot of college gear though.
It's
pretty cheap at the stores.
Oh, because you have a lot of Penn State stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of it was just gifted to me for some reason.
Oh.
And I'm not really sure because I don't live anywhere near Penn State, but.
That's some great gifts.
Yeah, I got a couple packs.
Some good gifts.
Chris says those are some great gifts.
What's that?
Chris says those are some great gifts because he's decked out in his Penn State gear right now.
Hey, Steve.
Nice. Yeah,
Steve.
I don't know if I've ever watched a Penn State game. I really don't watch college football too much. The last time I really paid attention, I was involved in some, like some parlays, and I remember I was on some ticket, and somebody was getting it was something crazy, somebody was getting 81 points or something like that, and I took the game and I hammered it, and they ended up losing it was 89-0. And that had to have been like 2010 to 12, somewhere around there. It was. So I stopped watching college football after that.
Chris, you have a question for Steve?
Yeah. So Steve, what do you think given that it's now the Bills off season, what do you think the draft needs or draft targets should be next year? Like what positions?
So then again, what do I think of what the Bills doing with the draft card?
Yeah.
I would say it's got to be somebody on defense. I mean, they did everything possible up until this point. They keep adding defense. I'm not really too sure. I don't have an answer for them anymore. But I would either go. It's got to. I would say you need a stud in the middle, a big nose tackle. Or they need somebody on the offensive line to give Josh Allen a little bit more time. And I think this is the year they should just do everything they can to just put themselves in salary cap hell and just take a shot.
It's a shame, man. You guys had that game. You guys are probably going to win the Super Bowl if you win that game.
Yeah, I agree. I think tomorrow's going to be pretty interesting. I don't think Cincinnati has a shot.
No.
Right now, if I was a betting man, I'd say I'd like to see a Chiefs and 49ers Super Bowl. I think they'd give them a good defensive matchup, but we'll see what happens tomorrow during that 49ers game. I'm not going to discount the Rams yet.
No, don't discount the Rams.
Let me ask them real quick too.
No, not at all. They got a solid spot.
Jared has a question.
Right now.
Do you remember those Bills losses, the 4 straight losses? How's it dealing with that? That's pretty crazy. That's a feat though to get the 4 straight Super Bowls.
I don't really remember the Giants game, but I remember watching the Redskins Super Bowl and the following 2 against Dallas, and that was pretty bad. And it's been awful, you know, up until recently, until we got Brandon Beane and McDermott. They really did change the culture around here. It started with the top and it worked all the way down.
Yeah. Well, that's a good feat in its own though, to get the 4 straight Super Bowls. That'll never be done ever again.
Yeah, I think if Kansas City makes it, will this be 3 in a row? And I think Seattle did. Was it Seattle who did 3?
They did 2.
2?
Right.
2? So I think somebody else had 3.
It would be the Chiefs if they do it.
I'd have to look into that, but I want to say this will be Kansas City's 3rd in a row, right?
Yeah.
If they get there, I mean, and I wouldn't say that they couldn't do it again next year. I mean, they have a hell of a team.
Yeah.
As long as
we'll see starting tomorrow.
Go Chiefs, go Rams, for sure.
You're just hating on everybody right now.
No, because I can't stand Jared winning the Super Bowl right now. I just can't do it.
Phil, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So the rumor around Buffalo is that Brian Daboll was going to be a package deal with Ken Dorsey.
Yes.
But there's nothing been confirmed in that. Have you guys heard anything about
same thing
that the nation talking about it?
Same thing that the Bills are fighting to keep him. That right. We're trying to get him as a package deal, but the Bills don't want to let him go.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I hope he doesn't go, but I won't be surprised if he did. Either way, he'll have a chance to be an offensive coordinator somewhere, and I think that he's going to do just as good as Brian Daboll has done.
Yeah,
as, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. He's really a pretty good part of our team, and that nobody talks about.
I'm excited.
Josh Allen along.
I'm excited. I just don't want to become the New York Bills, and then it doesn't work out. That's my only thing.
I'm not sure if you guys know this, but so you know, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott came from Carolina.
Yes.
And, I mean, we have made so many trades with them. We a guy on our roster right now, F.A. Abada.
Yes.
Defensive. You know, I mean, we've had a lot of. We got a receiver from them too a couple years ago. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was a Calvin
Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Yep,
Calvin Benjamin. I mean, we've traded with them a lot. But I don't ever feel like we've been the Carolina Bills. I just think that when people have connections with each other, they tend to just keep those same connections.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I mean, we'll see.
Kind of like the draft tree. I mean, not like the coaching trees, you know.
Yeah, I just want to stay away from New England's coaching tree for a little bit.
Daboll did coach there for a while.
Yeah, in Alabama.
He's from Buffalo, so I mean.
Yeah. At least he's a New York guy, no matter what. Even if it's upstate, he's still a New York guy.
Definitely.
You know,
I think you guys are on the right track. I'm assuming he's going in there with, and they're going to keep Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's staying. But I've heard some rumors that Barkley's going to get traded.
I could see that happening. I know Chris, big Barkley head because from Penn State, so I could definitely see them getting on trading Saquon Barkley. No doubt.
I think with that, it depends on the value.
He used to be the GM of the Bills before Brandon Beane, and he was saying that from the inside stuff, from what he's heard, is that we're going to give you guys Isaiah McKenzie, and you guys are going to give us the first round pick and Saquon Barkley. So we'll see if that happens. One can only hope.
We'll see what happens. Well, I love you coming on the show, my brother. You got to get it. What happened with the camera?
So Josh Allen threw an interception this year, and I punched my phone and I broke the camera.
Oh,
I had the phone in the left and I hit it with the right, and
you two-pieced it.
I was ready to jump to a table then. I'll tell you that.
You see, all the guys with the good teams go crazy. Then I got a team that throws for 12 yards in a game. Or what did Jared say? -10?
-10. Yeah, I heard that. I was unaware of that. And I also, you guys were talking about that 4th and 9. I mean, that was so bad. I don't know. You guys can't go any farther down, so you can only go up.
I know, but get your camera fixed and come on the show again, man.
Absolutely, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully you guys get me on real soon.
For sure, no doubt. And again, sorry about your Bills, man. I know how much you love them. I know that.
That's all right. We'll be back next year.
For sure. Thank you, my brother.
All right, brothers.
See you.
It's always a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. So yeah, I was there. See, we're mixing up fan bases. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good audio for some reason. Really good audio.
Good audio.
You had them like right on your mic.
I got the thing. Yeah, I got the setup there. Yeah. That's how we do it around here. It's another shade of blue, brother. Come on. But I always thought he was a Penn State head because I seen him with a Penn State shirt, the hat, the gloves. So I always thought he was a Penn State head. And it kind of, I mean, I know he's upstate New York, but Penn State, that's not far away. It's not like, one of the other coasts or something. I could have seen that. I thought he was a Penn State guy. Because I used to comment on his stuff, like go Penn State, and he would never say anything back. So I'm guessing that's what it was. He was like, "What?"
Yeah, my brother-in-law, he just likes to collect hats. Like he loves sports, but he likes to collect hats. It's like you like that. Like I remember one time because it's like as a Warriors fan, it's like I always think about the team that historically, well, recent history that they've had the biggest rivalry with was the Clippers. Like when the Clippers were good, and there was always like their hard played game. And he came over here wearing a Clippers hat one day, and he's a Brooklyn Nets fan. I was like, "You're wearing the wrong hat, man." What? I had to explain the backstory behind it because he's more of a newer, like paying real close attention to NBA.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that Emmanuel?
Yeah, Emmanuel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Yeah. So he had went out to a game. He went out to a Brooklyn Nets game, and that's how he started following the Nets because he didn't have a team that he specifically followed.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened to me with the Warriors, and I got backlash from it.
What's that?
I was a bandwagon fan. That's how I became a Warriors fan, because I was never a fan of like any certain NBA team either until the Warriors got my attention, and people call me a bandwagon fan. But I don't know. I don't think I am because I never had a team before that. I liked the Lakers and I liked Kobe, but I wouldn't say I was a fan of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it like essentially. It's like you think about people who liked the Niners back when we were kids. Well, I guess maybe when I was a kid, you guys are younger than me. But it's like a lot of them liked them because they're winning. And then all of a sudden, and there were also tons of Bulls fans.
Yes.
Everybody in elementary school, hey, we love the Bulls.
Oh, like, my God.
You've never been outside of California and you love the Bulls. But it's funny. So the first hat I ever owned was a Warriors hat. I was 4 years. Like, Jared, you remember Montgomery Ward's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like an older store. And so I had my Christmas money and I had $20 and I saw this hat sitting there. And I still remember very vividly, it was a white corduroy Golden State Warriors hat. I had no idea where they were from. I didn't know they were from Oakland. I was like, I didn't even know they're from California. I was 4. But it ended up being like, man, I like the Warriors. And they had Chris Mullin. It was the Run TMC thing.
Yes.
And so it's like ever since I was 4, it's like when probably the best player on Team USA for the Dream Team, Chris Mullin. I had his, obviously being sarcastic, but I had his like
Queens, New York native, I believe, St. John's.
Yeah, he's St. John's.
Yep.
But yeah, so I love Chris Mullin and I love the Warriors, and it's funny because nowadays it's like I watch way less Warriors basketball than before I had kids because I used to watch them like when I lived in the Bay Area, I got every game, so I'd watch game after game.
Okay.
I remember one year when they beat the LeBron when he was first with the Cavs, I was going crazy, screaming my head off, and I was like, I think the neighbor's going to call the cops.
Yeah, I was going crazy for that too. I was going for the Warriors big time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, I still remember when I became a 49er fan. I was 4 years old too, and my grandma, she worked at the Salvation Army, and she found the gold fleece jacket, the shiny ones, the old throwback jacket, and
started one
for me. What happened?
Like the starter jackets?
Yeah. She got me one from the Salvation Army, and I just worked school. And then I remember I was walking to my class, and one of the kids' dads had just dropped a kid off, and he's walking towards me. And I was 4 years old, and he's like, "Oh, 49ers, that's a nice jacket, man." And it made my day. So ever since then, I just, wore the jacket. That guy complimented it. And I've been a Niner fan ever since. I remember that.
Nice. Yeah, I love the Warriors too. I have never had an issue with them. I always like their jersey, especially the ones like in the early 90s. They had the Thunderbolt with like the guy. Yeah. I love those. Oh my God. I used to love their jersey. I love Baron Davis. I love that. Well, Steven Jackson and Bobby Sora and all them. I love the old school Warriors. No, Bobby Sora was the Cavs, right? Or did he play for the Warriors too?
Who's that?
Bobby Sora.
I don't know.
I think he also played for the Warriors, but I'll look into that. But yeah, I love the old school. Latrell Sprewell, who we got as a Knicks fan after he choked Carlissimo.
Yeah.
We went to the finals with Sprewell. So yeah, I always liked the Warriors. I always thought they were cool. I never had an issue with them ever. The only ones I didn't like really from Jarrett's side is the Dodgers and the Niners because our teams rival each other. But the Warriors always been cool to me. As long as LeBron doesn't win the NBA Finals, I'm good. Any team that LeBron is on, I'm not going for them. So,
yeah, they look bad this year, man. They're getting worse.
Because Westbrook
actually almost let them. He almost had them win last night without LeBron and AD. But
did you guys see the video where Jordan got up and walked out?
Yeah,
Westbrook hit those 2 threes. He was like, he got up and walked right out of there. But they won anyway, though, right? The Hornets won last night.
The Lakers lost. Oh, you said the Hornets?
Yeah, the Hornets beat them anyway.
Yeah.
But Jordan got up he was like, I'm out. He's like, I'm not watching them blow.
He took over. He had like 16 or 18 points in the fourth quarter.
They're just a bad mix.
They made it close.
AD
but,
and LeBron.
You can't win it if LeBron and AD are in street clothes.
Yeah.
70% of the season.
That's true. That's another thing, too. They have no shooters on that team. You need to shoot.
And AD just came back, last week, and he's already injured again.
He's injured. He's always been like that, though. Mm-hmm. I never liked him. Even coming out of college, I didn't want the Knicks to get him. I never liked AD for some reason. I always thought he was overrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I never liked him. I always thought he was a little bit overrated. So, yeah. But I'm happy they stink this year. I'm happy about that. I think it's gonna be the Warriors are gonna win the championship again. So
I hope so, man. I mean, for a little bit they were looking mediocre.
The Grizzlies are pretty good too. I like that team.
Well, the Warriors still have Wiseman to come back too.
Yeah,
and obviously he's like a wild card. I mean,
they started Klay Thompson too early. They should have had him on the bench, but they had him.
I agree.
As a starter, and I don't think he was ready for that yet. He wanted to be that, but I don't think he was ready.
To
be a starter.
I agree with that. But he looked good last night. Then he scored 23 last night, Klay Thompson, or the night before. Or was it last night? Because I had them in a bet. So I've been paying. That's the good thing about betting. You start paying attention to games that you wouldn't normally be focused on. So now I'm more educated around the league when it comes to that stuff now too. Because I'm like, I was watching the Princeton-Harvard game. That screwed me, the Ivy League basketball. I had Harvard and Pennsylvania beat them. So, yeah. But I'm all over.
You had a bet on that one?
I had a bet on, it's a parlay. It was a parlay. Harvard was favored by 5, and they got blown out. So
who was the home team?
Harvard.
They were the home team, and they got blown out?
They got blown out. And they
I
were
lost that bet,
too. Then you lost that one, too, you said?
No, I would have, yeah.
You would have lost that one, too. Yeah, I sent Jared the FanDuel stuff, but he's not doing it.
Yeah, can't.
He ain't ready for it yet.
I mean, I'll try, but I'm telling you, I'd lose and then I'll just delete the app.
You got to bet on the Niners this weekend.
Yes.
I haven't bet on them all year. I can't start now.
Yeah. Let me see the over, because I belong to Sportsline. I have an account with them, so they send you who they run the simulations a bunch of times, and they give you their opinion who you should pick. They said to take the under on the 49ers game. And that game, the under is 45 points between the Rams and the Niners. I don't know. That's a tough one.
45 is pretty low.
It's pretty low. That's what I was thinking. Because I can see the Rams putting up some points and the Niners, too.
Well, just Deebo Samuel alone.
Yeah.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He's a jacked Percy Harvin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
he is.
I like
last week it was just hard for our offense to get going because it was so cold they couldn't catch anything. It was like a big old ice block in their hands, you know. Like, have you ever tried to catch a ball in cold weather like that?
Oh, you can't
hurts.
feel it.
I played catch in the snow.
It stings.
It hurts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's because if I'm right, like in San Fran, it gets cold up there, right? Like up Northern California, doesn't it get cold in Oakland?
Yeah, because you're right on the bay, so you get essentially you could go like 15 miles inland and it'll be 20 degrees warmer.
Wow.
So because there's a mountain range there too.
Yeah.
So it's like you go over the mountains and there'll be days where it's like 55 in San Francisco, 60, and you go over the mountains and it's 100.
Wow.
Just because the mountains hold in the cold air. It's a crazy environment because
I love that.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's fascinating to me. I'd be blurring out and then I come back and I blur out again and I come back. I hate that.
What's up with your camera today?
No, you know what it is? I have like a twitch and I'm hitting my desk with my leg and it puts the camera out of focus. I have a twitch that I have. I think I have like slight Parkinson's disease and I haven't checked it out yet. So I think I might have like early stages.
Did you ever do that prank on the security dude at your work with the T?
We had it set up, but then his partner, who was the main orchestrator of the prank, said that that he has diabetes or something. He has an underlying health condition, and if something went bad, it's gonna fall on us, and he was to die or be hospitalized. He has an underlying condition somewhere. That he's blind because of diabetes. That's why he lost his something like that, and he don't want to fuck around. And
yeah, you don't want to give him that tea.
I don't want to give him the tea, and then all of a sudden he drops dead, and they're looking at me like I poisoned the guy or some shit. So, but I think I have like a slight case of Parkinson's. Cause look, I have like this twitch.
I don't know if there are slight cases. I think you either have it or you don't.
I think I have like a minor case of Parkinson's disease, or how would they call that? Early onset of Parkinson's disease.
I don't even know. We'll ask Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, we have Michael J. Fox on the show, and
he looks good now. Have you seen him?
Yeah, he does look good. Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't shake hardly at all.
Oh, he stopped the shakes a lot. He cut down on the shakes.
He was at a basketball game the other day on TV that I was watching. I forget what teams it was, but they showed him a few times and he wasn't shaking at all.
No? Maybe medicine's advancing too.
Yeah. And right? Especially when you got that money. You got that Back to the Future money.
Right. That keeps coming in all the time. Yeah. Look at Magic Johnson. He has no trace of AIDS and HIV in his blood at all, right?
Because it never happened.
You don't think it happened?
Never heard that theory?
What theory is that now?
I think he owed like some like Big Shots money or something. Something with, I don't know. He owed people money. So they told him, pretend you have this and we'll let you go for free. We'll let you go. Or I don't know, some bullcrap. It was something weird.
What?
Yeah.
Chris, you buying that?
No, I'm not.
I kind of figured that. That's why I just had.
I'll send you the link. It's an article I seen.
Is that a red tinfoil hat there, Jared?
The one that I'm wearing?
Is it tinfoil?
It's a little shiny.
That's how old you said the hat is?
It has a little it kind of shines a little bit. I can't get it on the camera.
How old did you say that hat is? You said last episode?
It's at least over 11 years old.
Wow.
My hats look like crap after a year.
Mine too, man. I sweat a lot. I have
a couple of them.
A lot of sweat.
I have a couple crappy hats, some little floppy ones. But I take care of my stuff. I try to take care of it. I don't know. I love my collections of stuff.
Yeah. No, you do take good care of your stuff. I seen when I was in your house. You had everything nice and neat. You're like a stickler.
Sometimes when you guys see this area, it looks nice, but then on the other side of the camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Chris, have you been to New York before?
Yes. Yeah. So I was actually spent a couple months over at, Glen Burnie, right outside of Maryland.
Okay.
Right outside of Baltimore. So I had to spend a couple months there. And so my wife and I went to New York. But yeah, it was just for a couple days.
You like it?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, we had fun walking around. It's like, not know the subway too well, but so we did a lot of walking because we stayed over in Queens and then took the subway over. But it was it was real cool. We had a great time.
Well, and what season was it? Was it cold?
That would have been fall.
Oh, okay. So
I remember because we were literally right outside of Baltimore because she just came out there for a few days, and it was weird because it's like from California. It's like most places you don't have a true 4 seasons, right? And it was like one day in Baltimore it was like 75, and the next day it was like cold as crap. And it's just like like, oh, it's like what in the world's going on here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it is here.
But yeah, no, I really liked our time in the Northeast. It's a lot of fun. It's like Baltimore's not all that great, but have you been to Baltimore before?
Been through it, and it looks like
because there's the Little Italy in Baltimore is awesome. That's one of the coolest places I've been in my life. Like the Little Italy area, because it feels like you're in Italy.
Yes,
so that place is awesome. So there's just going
the urban area of Baltimore.
Yeah, no, we took a wrong turn. I was like, I've been to like the Dominican Republic and Haiti and stuff like that. Yes. And like my time in the Coast Guard, it's like you go to a lot of like these what you could call third world countries, and we're like afternoon driving through some of the projects of Baltimore. I was like, man, I feel like I could actually die today.
Yes,
because it's some rough areas, but yeah, it was overall there's some parts of the city that are supposed to be cool that weren't, but yeah, the Little Italy part was awesome.
Okay, so you like the East Coast, you like the feel.
Yeah, well, it's like because I would move to not that Pennsylvania is really East Coast, but it's like that. Like Pennsylvania's awesome. Yeah, I'd move over there, but yeah, it's the winters make it difficult for like in retirement. We're probably gonna like get like a condo in Florida and live in Central PA for and do the snowbird thing.
Okay, and we have a connection too because I was also in the military. I did 6 years in the Army, so we got an Army Coast Guard connection here. Got Penn State connection, military connection. All right.
Yeah.
East Coast connection now. He was in New York. Jerry, you got to come out here, man.
Yeah, we want to. Me and the wife want to go. She wants to go for New Year's one year. But
okay.
The last 2 years haven't worked out because, all the COVID. I ain't trying to be out there in the big old crowd for the ball job with COVID.
Right, because I went to your house right before COVID hit, or COVID had hit us already.
There was little talks about it, remember?
Yes, I was in your house when that happened. I remember we were speaking about it, right? We're like, oh, this thing.
Yeah, because it had just barely hit the news.
Yeah, the stuff was not a big deal, and then the whole world shut down. As soon as I got back to New York, the whole world shut down. But
that's crazy, man. And here we are.
Chris, we need you on the show more, man. This has been great.
Come on.
Yeah, because
I hope I didn't talk too much. I talk a lot.
No, so. I think you. I think you talk too little. To be honest with you, I think we need to hear more from you. So
you guys teach me a lot with the college football and stuff. I need to learn about that. And you guys are really knowledgeable.
So this upcoming Wednesday is National Signing Day.
Okay.
So Jared, I know you said like that's like to learn more about college. So National Signing Day, it used to be like a huge deal. Would be this upcoming Wednesday. So essentially, it's the first opportunity for recruits to sign with a college and write their letter of intent to actually commit to going to that university. Mm-hmm. So, but previously back in early December, it was called the early signing day, which I think is a 72-hour window where they can sign with the college. So essentially, like if you pay attention to like college this Wednesday, like even the Bakersfield, California, like the newspapers, it'll say like, oh, so-and-so signed with Cal Poly or whatever college they signed with. So they're committing to go to that university. So yeah, Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday used to be like a huge deal. And now it's not so much because most of like 95% of the huge recruits have already signed. But as far as this Wednesday, you might notice some news.
And you always have like one or two pissed off moms when they walk off because the college they didn't want them to go.
They didn't want their son to go down to Florida because they're from Maryland or something like that.
Yeah. You see the mom walk off or something. Yeah, it's always like one or two mad mothers. Yeah. Great show, man. Great show.
That's why they say for a lot of the football coaches, they say, you're not recruiting the player, you're recruiting the parents.
Right. Yep. You're recruiting the parents. But those moms, they walk off. They're like, Florida, whatever. They storm off the set.
But they're not upset if they go to Bamix. Hey, we're going to get that money back.
Right. So true.
Yeah.
So Jared, good luck, man. Good luck.
Thanks, man. We'll see what happens. I hope we get it. Let's see. It's a 3:30 game.
What is Stephen A. doing? He's telling like, I want you guys to get it too. I'm hoping you guys win too. He puts the finger in his mouth or whatever because he's kind of lying. I want you guys to win. Stephen A. does that when he got like a lie or he don't want to say something or whatever. He puts the finger in his, yeah. I want you guys to win also, but I'll be lying if I said that. But good luck for you because you're my brother, so I love you. But I really want the Rams to win.
Yeah, the way that I look at it, it's like I'm never
gonna think you're serious.
Yeah, well, it's like I never like the whole thing is like when I get pissed off about sports is when people actively root against me. Like, like friends, and they're like, "Oh, I'm rooting for Ohio State when they play Penn State." It's like, oh, then we got problems. My thing is like it's like with friends, it's like, man, because I have my friend down the street, he's a big Rams fan, so it's like I'm neutral in the aspect. It's like because it's like ultimately, it's like I know how bad it feels when your team, like you're talking about Steve, Bills fan.
Oh
it's like,
yeah,
to have that feeling is like you haven't. It's kind of sad because whenever anybody ever says, "Oh," like your wife or somebody, "Oh, it's just a game." No, it's not just a game.
That's killed
to investigate. That would be just saying like, it's just a marriage. No.
Right? Yeah, no. There's investment. There's emotions behind this. Yeah, this is. Just
I'll be rooting for you to not be upset, Jared. So no matter what,
I like the way you worded it. Okay, I like the way you worded. All right. Yeah, I don't want you hurt about it. So if you guys do lose, I prefer like a blowout. So you're not as hurt about the loss.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I like how Chris worded that.
Well,
but
I agree with the wording, but I just hope we win it.
Okay. But good. We'll be talking.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next episode it's good vibes coming from you.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take off here.
Yep. Thank you, Chris, for being on.
It was a good one.
All right. That's good. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
You too, my brother. Be safe.
Bye.
See you.